Yes, sir.
Welcome to what I believe is the 12th episode of Born in Trouble. I'm your host, John X. How y'all feeling this evening? With my illustrious guest.
Yes.
You know, I realize, can you guys hear the sound effects? I don't think you can hear the sound effects on your end. Can you?
No.
No. But you know what, though?
We've never been asked that question before.
You've never been asked that question before. How sad. We're going to go ahead and we're going to stream this live, too. So, my illustrious guest, once more, from the city of Detroit, Michigan, Mr. City Wing King, Grant Lancaster.
What up, though? How y'all feeling?
Feeling great this evening. And of course, from the A, Mr. Dub K, members only. Remember, members only.
In which I just happen to be at the apex of a quickie flight right now.
Ooh.
So this should be great.
This should be fantastic in that case.
Forgive me if I zone in and out.
My bad, fellas. My bad. We're trying to get everything. I'm trying to get some things going here. Today has been like kind of like the last couple of days. And in the last couple of days, what I've seen is a lot of chaos and turmoil in my personal being and space. But guess what? Doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. Never does. So, fellas.
Hey, you're looking sweet, man. You're looking sweet.
Oh, man, I'm trying. We all trying, ain't we? We all trying, ain't we?
Yeah, that's a new background. I had noticed that till just now.
Oh yeah, no, this is the temporary spot. This is the temporary digs. It's gonna be a movable feast for the next couple of months. You know, we got a lot of stuff going on. But
Better you than me.
Better me than you? Well, it's
That's
not.
Right.
It's not so bad, man.
Moving.
Nah, it's not so bad because, you know, I had to leave the hotel, but apparently they don't let you get your points until you leave the hotel. So apparently now, because of the length of my stay, I'm like a super duper, you know, big double D dong dick guy right now with that company. Upgrades galore.
Hey,
So. Yeah, man, got to make some trips. I'm going to make it down to the A first, and I hope you brothers will be joining me there in September for my daughter's wedding, and, you know, then
Yes, sir.
Oh,
I want to make it up to Detroit.
Yo!
Yes.
The invitation came from you.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, man. Me and my wife been trying to figure out this. I was like, I was telling my wife, I know I was talking to this nigga about a wedding, but I just don't remember who the dude is.
Yeah.
I don't know who I was talking to.
Yeah,
when somebody's
yeah.
telling me about a wedding.
Well, you know what?
I got it. My bad. Now I need the RSVP.
RSVP.
Man. Oh yeah.
Yeah, my daughter.
We gonna make that.
Yeah, my daughter was beefing at me too. I hope she doesn't listen to this show where she's not watching it live because you just outed me because I was supposed to tell you that last week, the RSVP. So.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Gene.
Oh man, damn. I've been looking at that goddamn envelope every day like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. You can go to the...
I was like, somebody asked me about a wedding in September. I just don't remember who.
Yeah. So you can actually go online and you can RSVP too. So you don't have to send anything. You know, it's a link.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So fellas, how y'all feeling today, man? How y'all doing? Crazy week of different stuff.
Yeah, man. I'm good. You know, yeah, we good, man. What we talking about today?
Well, today
something on your mind?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's been on my mind, and I'm gonna hopefully weave this tapestry and bring it all together. And I want to start, of course, with DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. Do you know what that is? Basically, that is everything that has to do with affirmative action equal job hiring, equal pay, so on and so on. You know, that affirmative action, that program that helped white women and other minorities more than it ever helped African Americans. You know what we're talking about? Affirmative action.
Didn't Clarence Thomas kill that shit?
Clarence Thomas, yes. Great example. The man was a recipient of affirmative action. And some 50-odd years later, here he is voting it down and getting rid of it. Which is absolutely, yeah.
So isn't it clear to you now?
The price is right?
That affirmative action was always their weapon.
Oh,
right.
And one of the products, one of the sharpest swords they designed was Clarence Thomas.
oh.
Clearly.
So
I got to give you a flyby on that one, too.
they benefited from affirmative action.
Everybody else.
Probably more than so-called African Americans benefited from.
Well,
affirmative action.
I think affirmative action, when it's all over said and done, they're going to say that it was a booming success because they were able to bring minorities and diversity into the mainstream while leaving black people in the same place that they actually were from the very beginning. So It's basically a success. The ironic thing about it is that it was an Asian American that actually had bought the case, and there are probably millions, hundreds of thousands, let me say, of Asian Americans who actually benefited from affirmative action programs. But they're an acceptable, safe minority. They don't cause any problems. The only time you see Asians cause problems are in karate movies.
But isn't that always the case? You know what I mean? When they have minorities, the buzzword minority, the catchphrase people of color. You know what I'm saying? When you hear those phrases, or at least when I hear those phrases, it makes me understand off the dribble that it's not a thing that black people are really going to benefit from. Of course some will, because you have to make it look, like something. But the majority of the people,
the Clarence Thomases,
the minorities are going to be others.
Right. You
know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we're being honest, a lot of people benefited from those programs, actually had that ideology, much like a lot of the Asians and East Asians who benefited from affirmative action. They had that same ideology. They wanted to meld and be a part of the system. So it actually worked for them. For me...
Any assimilator...
Yeah.
Benefit. I mean, plenty of assimilators benefited from affirmative action. That was their best case scenario with it anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not going to be oppressing them, they have to be assimilated.
Yeah.
Whoever's not oppressed has to be assimilated. And so, yeah, they benefited. I mean, shit. I'm not mad at anybody who had that option. Mm-hmm. Had the option to go and make some paper they would not have made had the company not been participating in affirmative action.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at them at all. You know what I'm saying?
Because, well, you're not a hater.
Well, at the end of the day, that's what we're all doing anyway.
Well, exactly. You're not a hater at the end. No, at the end of the day, you're not a hater. What it did for me was it actually brought me back to my own senior year of college and thinking about my college choices. And, I always thought I was going to play basketball. Then I decided my senior year I didn't want to play basketball before I even started the year. So then I started thinking about schools. And, you take your SATs, you send out your SAT scores to certain schools. So I sent it out to 3 schools. Howard, because and I ain't never heard of it before, really. I wasn't really, and I'm not going to lie and say I was all into going to HBCU, but when it was explained to me, the concept of Howard University being a predominantly black school that was prestigious, And, people coming from different points of view, I was like, okay, I could fuck with that. So I sent into them. I sent into Morgan State. Even then I knew that it was a joke to send it into Howard and Morgan. If you don't get in Howard, you just don't go to Morgan. Right. Grant? Right? You don't do that. So anyway, it's a little HBCU joke. And the other school was Adelphi. And Adelphi is a local school that's predominantly white. It was like 1% black at that point in time. And I got into Adelphi. And my choice was, like you said, Gene, it was the choice between either melding in with the oppressors or going in a completely different way. And for me, that wasn't much of a choice. I went to Howard. But I did have that option to actually meld into that part of society, and I opted not to. A lot of people will make that decision, and a lot of us have made that decision. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. The one thing, I did hear something interesting about it. After affirmative action, there was this guy on Fox News. He's the big black guy. He's a big sellout black guy. Maybe he's not a sellout. I don't know, because I can't really say that because I actually liked what he said. And what he said was that I think that this is the best thing that happened to black people. And the lady on TV that was there, she was like, why? He said, well, because now we can address the actual issue, which is education, preschool to 12, and making that equal for all people in the United States of America. And I actually thought that was a pretty good point, because he was like, instead of educating black kids to the 8th grade reading level, they should get the same education that everybody else in this country gets. And then you can actually talk about fair and equal. But until you deal with that. Huh?
It sounds like a spin, though, because that kind of bottlenecked it into into just the college part of it.
Well,
or to schools, when it can't come to it. But guess everything's gonna follow.
Well, yeah.
Shit, the schools don't have to do it. Shit, then the municipalities, the cities, the this, the that, unless I guess the federal government keeps their thumb on status quo.
That's Gene, what you said, it's like you laugh about it, but that's the reality of it. Nobody wants to pay for kids from another neighborhood to compete with their own. Grant, you want to say something?
Yeah, and so first of all, the feds can mandate whatever they want to mandate. You know what I mean? It's easy to put something on paper, but what you have to change is the heart of people in order to make that actual change, something that's going to be palpable for the people that are out there. And I don't care how equitable you want to make it. If you base schools, if schools make their money based off of the amount of taxes that people pay in a neighborhood, it can never be fair and equal. You know what I mean? Like you have to get that collective money and then just divvy it up equally in order for that to happen. But even that is not necessarily gonna work, because somebody at the end of the day, somebody has to be in charge of disseminating that money. And if you're the powers that be, and if you're a white school and you see a black school, what's the likelihood that and your son goes to the white school? What's the likelihood that you're gonna say, hey, instead of giving them, we're gonna keep 110 and they get 90. You know what I'm saying? And then the next year we get 120, they get 80. You know what I'm saying? It's just human nature.
Well, there are a couple of things I could bring to that conversation as far as ideas to actually bridge that gap. But before I even go there and get into that, what's really interesting is, y'all know Diane works with education, right?
Uh-huh.
So
yeah.
She's been pointing out that what they're doing with a lot of the charter schools is that they're actually doing the opposite of what he was suggesting that Gene was saying was sandbagging, which is they're actually pulling the money from out of the local public school systems and the education, and they're feeding it to charter school based upon choice. And the way that they're doing it, when they do that, what that does is that allows them to actually save all that money. And what they're doing is they're actually saving that money and sending their kids 9 through 12 to prep schools to get them ready for college educations or for that training for college. And this is the new pathway. So at the same time, What that does is that pulls the public dollars out of those schools and gives that money to neighborhoods that don't even need it. So now they're not only paying more taxes, they're actually reaching into the pots of other neighborhoods, and they're taking money from out of that pot, from the state education pot. So, it's this great big plan to dumb people down and make it worse. And now we have this conversation about reparations. Reparations is big. I know, Gene, you're big on reparations. You believe in that shit, right? So,
well,
go ahead.
I actually believe that. I actually, for a while thought that as big as and as broad as reparations and what it should be is, one of the, let's just say, tens or hundreds of things that would need to be tweaked and or otherwise for something to be repaired, as damaged as we are. One of them was their version of affirmative action, as just a small piece of the reparation pie, But that's why when it happened, my first thought was, look, not only are you not getting reparations, but we're not doing shit for y'all motherfuckers, and this is just one more step towards us just letting you know that that's where we at with this shit. To the
well, one of the problems with
to the conscious mind.
Well, one of the problems with reparations is that there are a lot of black people, quote unquote black people, people of African descent living in this country now that don't have the same background as ADOS. They come from different areas, right. And when you ask them about reparations, they'll be the first one to say, reparations, we don't need no reparations. We come from a different place. We don't take these things. We don't need these advantages. And it's interesting because, like, these people, a lot of times, those people are more educated. I just got done speaking to and hanging out with a Nigerian educated doctor who told me that the first 2 years that he went to college in the United States of America, he didn't have to study because he never had to crack a book. He just stayed there and he was attentive because everything that they were covering in his college courses, his pre-med courses, he had covered already in secondary school. That just shows you how backwards this education system in the United States of America is. That this man actually, just from a regular, normal background in Nigeria, got this stellar education. And here in the United States, we don't get anything like that. So when we talk about in terms of reparations, we already know that people are not with the thought process of giving black people large amounts of money. So what about tweaking the services that black people receive in lower income neighborhoods to actually boost up the neighborhood and the area? These are solutions towards reparations other than just give me my bag that would actually allow for black people not only to survive but to thrive. Because truth of the matter is, it's like, I don't know how you feel about it. Now it's kind of in question with some of this rap music that we hear today. But I think that given equal footing, black people will basically rise to the top. That's always been the way. So what do you think about instead of reparations? I'm sorry, let me just clarify. Instead of reparations coming in in terms of $1 billion spread out in the neighborhood, $1 billion investment into the education system of that neighborhood. Is that something that would be acceptable as a reparation to go for the next 40 years, 2 generations?
So I would love to see reparations in some form, but reparations is going to be hard because so there's and I think we talked about this one time before. So black people consider America a monopoly game. Black people, by the time we got on the board, we didn't get to $1,500, and then all the significant property, all the property was already bought up. So all you could do was go around the board and die, right? So fast forward this to a reparations conversation. So now all the significant property is still gone. All of the things that you can use to make money are pretty much already gone. So let's say that they did give us reparations. Let's say that we got $2 million apiece. Every black person in this country got $2 million. How long is that gonna last? Because what's out there for you to buy that's gonna be significant? You can't buy nothing in Manhattan. You can't buy anything in LA. You can't buy hardly anything in Florida, Texas. You know what I mean? Like you locked out of so much of what America is. You know what I mean? In terms of ownership and being able to make a viable business and do things as a unit. Right, like that moving as a unit, that mentality has been stripped away from us. You know, so even if they gave us all $2 million or whatever the number was, most of us are just gonna buy a Cadillac and fucking, you know, buy a big ass house that we don't need. You know, but I mean, I guess it'll stop us from stunting against one another because we can't stunt against white people because they got more shit than we got. But
well, I mean, 2 million. Cats is going to want my 2 million.
But the reality is this, though. Really, I was sitting here thinking that, you know, the majority are probably going to do a bunch of irresponsible things. But, you know, in defining what is responsible or irresponsible, things that don't establish any type of roots for ongoing revenue and stuff. So they're not going to be doing those things, maybe spending money on shit that, you know, decreases in value. Okay, so people do that. However, there'll be triple or quadruple the amount of innovators that spring up out of that situation. You know what I'm saying? Because for every million black people you gave $2 million to, you know, even a slither 2% is, you know, is enough black people to make some significant changes when it comes to innovation and stuff. And now, but that's what that would do. That I like Umar's list because something like that would be a start. But he wants percentage of ports when the slaves came in, you know, and he wants. I'm talking about, his list is thorough. You know what I'm saying? That really deals with the institutions and stuff like that. Here, I'm about like Black Panthers on this with reparations. If they're not talking about building institutions that you know people live off of, the schools,
schools,
hospitals, and grocery stores.
They're not talking about it. Ain't reparations. It's
right.
something else.
Well, this is what right. Well, this is what I'm saying. We're changing it in terms of instead of giving it up individually to people, you know, give it up in an area to build up the area, economic investment, economic opportunity, loan packages, things of that nature. Not just giving away $2 million, but the idea of giving $2 million away, that's not a bad idea either because, you know, black people are just like anyone else. Some people are just going to go out and they're going to spend that money. But what that'll do is that would actually be an economic boon to the rest of the country. It would actually bolster them up, you know. So
well, it would be the same thing even if you put the schools and hospitals and grocery stores in the neighborhood. There's still a portion of the population that's gonna be like, you know, man, fuck that. I ain't going to the Mr. Johnson's grocery store. I'm going to Mr. Charlie's grocery store where I've been going all these years. You see what I'm saying? Right. It's like the mentality has to change. Like it I don't know if you can even bring it back to what it once was when the civil rights and all of that, when all that was going on and black people were kind of, you know, in step with one another. You know what I mean? Exactly. With the fist up and all that kind of shit. Black is beautiful. Black is power. Black is love. All that kind of thing. I don't know that you can get back to that mentality, man, because we have ventured so far away from it. I don't know if y'all saw the BET Awards, but just looking at the BET Awards to me was a significant indicator that we is fucked up. Right? I was looking at that shit and I was like, what in the entire fuck are we doing? And these are all people that supposedly have money.
Well, I mean, you're gonna bring it to entertainment, Kiki. You know, that situation is like, it kind of has elements of everything that we've talked about today in this conversation, which is the black family. What does it look like? What does it do? How do you respect it?
That? I'm not up on it. What's the deal with that?
Generally, what happened was that Keke Palmer went out to an Usher concert with her cheeks out and everything, and looking for attention and everything. And her baby daddy posted up on Twitter while she was there, that she was basically out there looking for attention, and that that's not what he wanted from his woman. So it just blew up in public. This whole thing.
First of all, he's a buster, but go ahead,
No, well, listen, you could look, you could say he's a buster. You could say that he's in on it. No, you could say that he's in on it. These things with these people, it's like that could have been to get him attention and to get her attention. Maybe that was always the plan. Maybe it was always the plan for them to.
People do it. That's the new slap.
Right.
That's the heat of the passion slap right there. That's
people put it out for public consumption. Exactly.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. So we don't know what it is everybody's supposing about as far as like what actually happened between them. It could be anything in between because the next day Keke was on the internet. She was on the internet doing a commercial for a new brand. Within 24 hours. That's what it is right now. That's what these people do. That's how you get popular. And I was saying this on another talk with someone else. It's not even about how much talent you have anymore. It's about how many followers you have on Instagram or TikTok or like whatever this new one is. It's about your followers. That's how you get the role, Neil.
What is it, Threads?
Thread.
Is it Thread?
Thread, something like that, yeah. They It's about how many followers you get. And Keke, she's talented, I guess. But, she's always hustling. She's out there hustling for that attention. So it could have been everything that people were saying. Huh?
That's what Hollywood is.
That's what Hollywood is, right. Yeah. It could be everything that everyone is saying that it is, that this one and that one is like maybe he was really hurt and maybe she did really come off like, yo, well, you can take your hurt ass on and everything. Chalk went up for the ladies and everything. Maybe that's what it actually is, but
it's still I know it's still a terrible fucking theme. It's a terrible, just set of thoughts, just thought track, or for them to, that is the message, the Glorilla, the girl from the Bronx, whatever her name is, Spicy, and then it's just like, Spice. Dang, it was just trash, or I should just say, whoring, not just for women, but for black people. Whore them out this way. Whore this talent out.
You're exactly.
Those folks are never going to be our leaders, and that's what black people want. They want those folks to be our leaders.
It's impossible. Yeah, they can lead you to the strip club. They can lead you to the strip club. They can lead you to the bank. They can lead you back. Like I think the most interesting thing. Go ahead, Grant. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say they had the most followers, so clearly they're the leaders.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. It's sad, man. I don't know. You know what? Like I said, maybe from all the trash, that's maybe that's where the diamonds rise up. I'm not talking about the people that are trash, but it's.
From someone seeing that,
leader or a set of leaders will come along because of it.
Yeah, from actually experiencing and just being like, enough of the bullshit. To me, it doesn't even. I don't have an opinion on that shit either way, other than the fact that I know that a lot of it is media driven. They're both making money off of it. She got her baby and everything. He's got his name always out there. He's an actor or wants to be an actor, so now he can get more roles. And the stuff that people are saying in commentary about it she kicked him to the curb or whatever. That's the problem with the black community, because they actually think that is, Kiki ain't living what, Nene is living. Kiki isn't living that shit. Kiki is she live in Manhattan, Midtown. And she's doing that because she needs to make big numbers to pay that rent or to keep that place for free. So she can do that and everything and play that game. You can't play that game with your baby daddy. You can try, you know what I'm saying? But unless you're playing a game, these games that these people choose to play are games that lack winners.
But he's playing.
Nobody wins.
That's what I'm saying. I'm almost like I'm about going with one of your suggestions now that they set that shit up, because I mean, clearly he put that out there like that for all this hoopla to get started, for people chiming in on the shit, this and that.
While she was actually there, so they could get pictures of her coming out of the event. They were able to get pictures in real time because he was tweeting in real time.
Right.
That's love.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I really don't even give a shit about them folks.
Right.
Right. I give a shit about the conversation. I give a shit about the conversation that these people are distracted with. This shit really matters. Oh yeah, girl, you should do that. Well, you ain't got no ring on it and everything. And the whole body shaming thing. You're body shaming because these men are saying that, we went from Method Man, rocking, one of the dopest lines ever in a hip hop song, rocking 3/4 of cloth, never showing your stuff off, boo. Right?
Uh-huh.
Right now, if he came out with that lyric, they'd be like, why are you trying to keep your woman under wraps? Why can't we see that?
Right.
Because that's mine. So it's like you said, how do you make those two things fit? Black family, how do you make respect? How do you get respect from out of that situation? I'm going to do what I want to do until I get a ring on my finger, which means I may prove that I'm never fucking capable or worthy of having a ring on my finger. Because while I'm with you and you and you.
Look, the landscape is going to change. Period. It doesn't even matter why.
Yeah. I say people are just delusional, though. People are delusional, man. Like as a woman, if you think that you can give your pussy away for the first 30 years of your life and then demand some high value for it for the next 20 years of your life, you have to be insane.
You're bugging.
Yeah, you have to be insane. It ain't just like bread. It don't age like wine.
Wait, hold. Before you say that, G, yesterday's prices ain't today's prices?
Right. Yeah. Let me tell you what it is. It's real simple. After you done injected 30 years of poison, you can't give it. You can't just say, okay, my philosophy is different now. I think differently now. No, because the world has told you for 30 years.
So let me ask this.
That you have diamonds.
Let me ask this.
You can't change.
How long before this is considered a mental disease?
What?
Just like alcoholism, just like drug addiction. For a long time, drug addicts just went to jail. Mm-hmm. Now it's an addiction. Now it's a mental thing. So at some point, will the whole phase that women go through,
female pimping,
some women go through, not
female
all,
pimping,
right? Will this become
a part of the DSM?
A mental crisis.
Is this going to become a part of the DSM? Are they going to write that shit down and make it official?
I don't know, but the truth is this: they're whatever they lack, and their shortcomings and stuff like that are just one of, too many pieces, that represent our dysfunction. Black men, they have they have things that you can point to But all of them collectively, though, all of them, any important thing, like what a black woman feels her role should be, what her role should be, how she feels her role should be, and how it actually helps all black people. Whatever role she's thinking, okay, how does that help all black people? Black men don't think like that either. But what I'm saying is, part of our dysfunction is that we are so far removed from
thinking about each other,
thinking like that.
We only think about ourselves.
And them and their woes are just one part of our dysfunction when it comes to unity and everybody acting towards the favor of black people on the whole. So it is sad, but I'll do keep it in perspective, is that black people in this country have actually morphed in to what they need to be, considering the threat against them. Then that's just, I'm not calling what they morphed into good, bad, this, that, or whatever. I'm saying that what they are
part oppressor.
We've become the oppressor.
It's just like, in the old classes that you took where you learned about drugs. What do we call it? Health. Remember in the old health class when this guy used to say this 1,000 times. Nobody is born and says, I want to be a drug addict. Well, guess what? There ain't no black women that were born, right? That said, I want to be treated lower than most any other women on this earth. I think along those lines, and there's a problem. But just like us, they are going. Every person is going to have to wake up in their own individual way and give their own individual effort best they can towards those things that we discussed, or anything that will help black people as a whole. And I hope these women figure it out.
All these things that we're talking about tonight are just like a part of collective trauma, the collective trauma that we've all experienced as black people living in this country. And there's a war to actually not only suppress it, or stop it, but just to suppress it and not talk about it at all. That's what DEI is all about. That's what that guy in Florida, DeSantis, is doing. He declared that diversity, equity, and inclusion, those programs are done in Florida. No more. Now we're just treating people like people no matter what. But if we treated people like people in the first place, they wouldn't need diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. And that's the whole problem. And, the crazy part about, DeSantis is, this guy, man, he's slick as fuck, B. He just passed the law because he does this. He gets rid of DEI, but then if you're a certain type of guy, you might still like him in Florida. The reason why is because he just limited the amount of lifetime alimony. He eliminated lifetime alimony payments in Florida. So if you got married and you got divorced and you're still paying alimony 20, 30, 40 years later, your wife hit 60 years old, you think you have to pay her your pension? Not in Florida. He got rid of that. So that just makes it really good for you to go ahead and get married, divorce your wife at 40 and everything, get married again, divorce her at 60, get married again, because you're not going to be paying alimony upon alimony upon alimony. These are the type of things that he does to get big money donors into his collection, because who's going to benefit more than that? Than a rich guy who likes to sleep with and flip around women and everything. Right. And white women in Florida will run around waving that flag with no idea that he's making sure that they can never become old cougars. Goddamn shame.
Damn it.
Yeah.
That was part of my retirement plan, was moving to Florida and getting caught by a cougar.
Look, Florida is the same as every state. They just have they just show their intentions more.
Oh yeah. I mean,
they hide their intentions less.
I would say
state is just like Florida.
I would say every state is talking about it, and everything. But Florida, that guy is like, fuck it, I'm going to go ahead and do it. You know, I was over in Mississippi, and they had this thing about with their black people. You know what, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to try this shit over here in Florida.
Right.
They were just talking about it, but I'm going to actually do it.
I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it.
He's like, do it, DeSantis.
Because what the hell?
Yeah.
Because what the hell?
Because what the hell?
Yeah.
They like this. We like this stuff.
Yeah.
We, you know, equity, inclusion, fairness. Oh, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Yo, homie, you a bully? Come on down. You're a police officer in a place you get kicked out for brutality? Come to Florida. We'll give you a extra benefit to come to Florida and join police forces in Florida. He has a program like that. He's got something for
We'll give you two.
Yeah, he's got something.
guns.
He's got something for the police. He's got something for the cheating husbands. He's got something for the racist. Gotta love Florida. That guy is doing it big.
I
Bigly.
loathe Florida. I loathe Florida and its bland lack of culture outside, of course, the major city of Miami. And some of the most racist redneck people I've ever had to deal with on a regular basis in life were in Florida during my time in Florida. And specifically a little town called Arcadia, Florida. So if
What's in
anybody hears
Arcadia?
this wants to, well, just look at the town history, and it's Mayberry as far as I'm concerned, where Klansmen, regularly gathered, or annually at least, if not more often, in the downtown city area with full support, and
Support.
with black people kind of scattered, because you can't, even during civil rights, there was parts of this country that still had a death grip on black people,
Yeah, for sure.
as far as having them scared and everything else. That there was no protesting in some parts of this country.
Well,
meaning, because you would risk your life doing so.
I think it's pretty safe to say that America has gone backwards as far as like race relations, but it's odd that, and not really odd, but fact of the matter is there's a correlation between the success of the United States and the lack of empathy that people have towards each other now. And I wouldn't say like necessarily black people towards any people. It's never an equal thing. If a white person feels that a black person is bad towards them, I mean, you could be mad about it and everything, but 9 times out of 10, that black person doesn't have the same impact and ability on the world as a white person does. And I think it's ironic how race has become something that it was only really created in the 1800s, white
Right.
and black, and how quickly it caught on like wildfire. It's like the bunny hop, the WAP back in the day.
It allowed people to become part of the popular group and oppress someone else.
But
so
I was watching an economist talk today and said that the GDP is directly associated with people's happiness level and with their anger towards other groups. And the United States now ranked number 62 in this poll that just like over 3 decades ago, we were somewhere in like the top 10. So just because of the fact that we are so much, that these people are so racist, their racism is taking them off of their game. They can't keep up with other things because they're too busy trying to be nasty motherfuckers.
They can't cheat as well, probably.
yeah, you can't hold somebody down without being down there with them. So
Damn.
you bring the collective down, my man. It's not just black people that's gonna be on the bottom.
Right.
Damn, that's crazy. I almost want to end the show right there because that was like.
That's why I love when I hear Coach say this is America's problem.
Yes, sir.
Just say, this is anybody who is an American, titles themselves as an American. This is their problem, and this ain't none of this is gonna even get started until honesty gets started. And I'm not even a little optimistic that a country that has been dishonest since inception is all of a sudden going to turn around and start being honest.
Well, if you take all the great,
sin that they committed.
Yeah, no, seriously. Well, if you take all the great black pioneers that we've had in this country that have worked with white systems in order to bolster them up and make the system and make the world, the United States of America, a better place. At that time, what was the United States? When they didn't even have full equity in the country. And a lot of those people that are now gone, their daughters, sons, grandsons, great-grands, they now that person is gone, they're experiencing the harshness again once more. You know, there's no such thing as a good family name in the United States of America when you're a black person. You know, that shit is over within a generation. And this type of growth, actually, it can't be quantified what they're doing. It can be 62nd in GDP, 62nd, which is crazy. And it can be equated that way because of the fact that with that number, at that number and everything, you're pretty much taking a loss. You're taking a loss collectively. And it's just a slow drip of water on a rock. It's just a slow drip of water on a rock. And it's almost like, you know, as a black person, you could be upset about it and everything. I don't know why you would be upset about it because you're powerless to change it. The only thing that can change is them. They can make you a scapegoat as much as you want. They could show you on the news as many times as they want to show you on the news committing crimes, but it's not going to change the fact that until they change their tactics, it's just going to...
I think we could change some things too.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna say that we couldn't change some things too, but I don't think that we have the stomach to make the changes that are necessary. Like black folks ain't giving up the comforts that they've grown accustomed to, and I mean white folks ain't giving that up either. Not just us. Ain't nobody giving up their comforts really. You know. But if we stop wasting money on shit that we don't need to impress people that we don't know, with all these white companies that we spend money on, you know what I mean? Y'all, Gucci or Louis Vuitton, whoever, they ain't. You don't know that they the shit. You just heard that they the shit.
Nobody would want to. The problem with that is that nobody would want to put a camera in front of that person's face. We had that with Public Enemy. We had that with Rakim. We had that with, Nas. You know, we had that with a lot of conscious black people. You know, Sidney Poitier back in the day. You know, you can just run it.
Jim Brown, Lou Alcindor,
Jim Brown,
Walton. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that was like that type of activism is boring right now. That's not. You know, that's not Keke Palmer with the butt cheeks out. You know what I'm saying? I want to see some butt cheeks with my drama. You know, I want to hear about somebody that can... Huh?
Now she's selling shirts.
Oh, she's selling shirts now?
Yeah, that's what...
God bless her, man. She's setting up the generations, man. Look, she's setting up the generations. I ain't even mad at it. Yeah, I'm not even mad at it.
Yeah, I like I said, I don't care... I really don't care about either one of them. All that is just a stark reminder that we have more distractions than we could deal with. I mean, but it's by design. Yes, sir. I'm gonna tell you what you're talking. I walk around, not walk around, but I don't think I could ever be relieved of my anger. I'm angry about our history.
That's real.
I am, you know, in a way that because you know it's likely that I'm gonna die without seeing significant effective change. You know, right. But, all I can do is hope that it comes one day. You know,
right.
And a lot of times I'm angry because I don't know how to feel about that. You know, I just don't know how to feel about that, meaning that, you know, because that drives your focus, that drives your purpose, this, that, and everything else when it comes to, you know, what you'll be able to accomplish. But the only thing even though I say that, The only thing that I'm dedicated to feeling is that, okay, I'm one of many, special but not special. And whatever is just what it is, you know. I need to just go ahead and live with love or, you know, those types of things and just be focused on that. But, man, I tell you, I walk around, I'm angry, man. Shit, I'm angry that people don't want to talk about the truth and people don't want to go ahead and get this reckoning over with.
You have any thoughts on that, Grant?
Yeah, I just think I think that anger is just part of being black in America. You know what I mean? I don't think that's you know, it's not. Gene did he explained it in a way, but it's not unique at all. You know what I mean? I think we all, to be a black man in America is to be angry at all times, because you have to be defensive at all times.
You're going to be tested.
You know, yeah, because and you never know where the test is coming from, and any day could be your last day. I mean, that's true across the board, but particularly for black men in this country, anytime you step outside the door could be your last time.
Every test is potentially fatal. Yep. And that's the reality of this existence. And that's the sad part about the whole Keke Palmer thing is not because Keke's butt cheeks are out. I don't mind her butt cheeks being out and me saying that. Listen, I'm a man and everything. It's nice to look at and everything. The women might feel a little bit different. And then, you know, but the part of that is these same women that will sit up there and defend her would call my statement there misogynistic. And if those people felt that way, then y'all got issues. You got problems. You can't have it both ways. I'm not going to allow you to have it both ways. Not in my space and everything, not in my personality. And since I don't see you and everything, since I don't see these people, I would never let, you know, God forbid, I would never let those types of opinions really get to me to the point where you would have to, like, you know, issue an apology or all this other stuff and everything. It's not that serious. What's more serious, we are allowed to have our own points of view. And I think that's the problem with it. We're not having discussions anymore. We're having judgments. You know, they took his point of view of saying, let's just take it seriously for a second. His point of view is saying that he doesn't want to see his baby mom out there looking the way that she's looking. That's a real feeling that a lot of people feel about the woman that they love. They don't want to see the woman that they love out there in 1/4 of cloth. They want you. They want to see you in 3/4 of cloth. Let us know that there's some value to that, and you're not just advertising it. The difference between being someone who's actually looking for a home or looking to make a home with someone else and someone who's consistently advertising for, let's just call them Airbnbs. You know what I'm saying? Some chicks is homeowners, some chicks is Airbnbs. You know what I'm saying? You go to a lot of nice places, meaning different men and everything, but none of them are home. If you want to make a home, if you want to build a home, you got to stay put to a certain extent. And these are the messages that are getting misconstrued. And that's why there really there's not a bridge to gap here. There's no bridge to gap here, because a chick that's out there like that, like, honestly, you're looking to smash, B. You ain't looking to wife it. You're looking to smash. Yeah. So it's like, you know, if you want to be smashable, don't be mad when cats try to smash. You know? Right. And don't try to say, like, oh, this guy isn't worth it. He ain't spending no money on me. Why would you spend money on somebody who got no clothes on? You're already halfway there. I'm gonna try to get it to the get it to the crib. Mm-hmm. You're already halfway there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like these choices. This is why and it's not really up to us to make this decision. That's the whole point. Like, we can make these comments, but I think where I've been going wrong with this is that it's not really my decision to go out there and tell these people what they should do and how they act. All I can really do is tell you how it's perceived and just, like, let it rock from there. You know, I'm not in my 20s trying to make a family and everything. Right. So,
yeah, I don't think it's about. I don't want to make this sound like it's I'm being judgmental, because I'm not. I'm just expressing what I see from my vantage point, right? Keke Palmer, I mean, hey, do what you do.
yeah.
Whatever the boyfriend's name is, do what you do, Doc. It really it's water on the duck's back for me. It don't mean anything.
Not everybody's cut out for monogamy. It's not their goal. It's not their goal.
And but on the Hollywood side, this could just be her trying to stay relevant.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's who knows where she's coming from. You know what I'm saying? The two hardest things in any relationship, to understand the person that you're with, and to be understood by the person that you're with.
Well,
so who knows what her motivations were?
Well, if just to wrap it up, we got a couple of minutes left, and I didn't shout out Mr. Brooks with the good looks, who didn't make it here this evening. Mr. Brooks, don't know what's going on here. But, if I was going to tie this all together, if we could just imagine for a second that Keke Palmer didn't have any money, and her baby daddy also similarly didn't have much money, and he was just a regular working guy, and he was just struggling. We all know that the system that we have today is oppressive for men. Once a woman decides to get on welfare, it basically is a anchor for the man and for ultimately the entire family. Because, like, any money that goes into the family, if the man makes more money, hypothetically, that's more money to put into the family. But if you're held back by different things, then you can't actually make it that way. And a lot of times the woman is hamstrung. She may need a place to live. In order for her to actually get that place to live, she's got to give up the man. She's got to tell the man whether she has a good relationship with him or not. So can we take an element of reparations and actually bridge that gap, where it would allow for women to opt out of a program which is oppressive to the husband, that maybe makes him not come around as much? And this is, once again, and I bet you, the interesting thing about that thought process is, I bet you that, like affirmative action, would benefit white women more than it would anyone else.
Absolutely.
And on that note, Born in Trouble, guess what? We're going to shout it out and everything. From the A, Mr. Dub K, Gene Hopkins.
What's up, y'all? Bye-bye, y'all.
Bye-bye, y'all.
I'd say you're on the wrong end of the show, buddy.
Yeah, man. Listen, you already warned us in the beginning. That was a good look. That was a good production move on your part, so.
That was the apex.
That's right, bro. We're just happy to have you, man. Mr. Dub K, and of course, Mr. Grant Lancaster, the City Wing King, home of City Wings from Detroit, Michigan, home of City Wings.
2896 West Grand Boulevard, Detroit, Michigan. Come down and get you some, baby.
Wings, baby. Mr. Grant Lancaster.
Yes,
and we're going to stop the live stream now. Listen.
I'm coming when you open that up, Grant. I'm coming up to Detroit.
Yes, sir. Come on in.
That's what's up.
Come on in.
I'm coming.
That's what's up. All right, y'all. Born in Trouble. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
All right, y'all. Peace.
All right, y'all.